Jupiter conjunct Venus, the Gemini new moon, and Chiron square Venus are all asking us this week to opt into a life of more joy, more fun, and more play. And to also understand that there might be some sort of nemesis that we meet on our hero's journey. This week's astrology might argue that that nemesis isn't a monster in the closet. It could be yourself. What's up, everyone? I'm the Astro Mama. I'm a certified professional astrologer, board certified psycho-spiritual life coach, and a real life mama. And I bring the cosmos down to earth to help ground deep feelers, creatives, and mystics because universe, Lord, God, Spirit, Goddess knows we need it. So if that sounds like you, if you find that sometimes you feel like you're walking around with your head in the clouds, or you feel like an alien and nobody really understands you, or you don't even really understand yourself, and you're trying to figure out why you're soul incarnated, well, we're not going to answer that question today, but I do feel that astrology can be such a grounding tool to remember to put both of your feet on this earth, to keep your heart open, and to understand that everything that you're going through personally and everything that we're going through together as a collective is temporary. In these forecasts, I go transit by transit, day by day, of what are some of the major celestial happenings happening in the sky, and how can you work with them to make the most out of your day, week, month, year, and leave feeling better than how you started. Our time in this incarnation, in this life, is short, and I want to help you make the most out of it. So let's dive in. We're going to go back to Tuesday, June 9th. The moon enters Aries today. It makes a trine to Venus and Jupiter in Cancer. It makes a sextile to Uranus and Pluto. And then it also is conjunct Neptune. You could just wake up on Tuesday and you're feeling emotionally fulfilled and passionate. You could be feeling ready for the day. Maybe you go out for a run or do a workout or something. And when the moon is in Aries, we tend to feel passionate and motivated. It is conjunct Neptune, and Neptune is this more dreamy energy. It's a more spiritual energy. It can blur boundaries and bounds. And there could also be this creative component of what happens. Is it that you wait until you feel good to create, or is it that creating helps you feel good? It helps you reach this flow state and you feel more connected. I will say, with the moon conjunct Neptune in Aries, be mindful of any power struggles today. And sometimes when we are chasing something, or we're really fighting an issue, or we're really trying to win the tug of war contest, we draw things out way longer than they need to be because of ego. And when two people are triggered in any kind of dynamic, nobody's listening. We've all been there. You try to communicate something in a really level way to somebody, but they get triggered and now they can't hear you. And now the situation's escalating because now you're triggered that they're triggered. And we've gotten really far away from what the initial share was. And even if that share comes from your heart and it comes from trauma informed language and nonviolent communication, you can't force another person to be ready to receive whatever that is that you need to communicate with them. And you also can't control however they respond to it. The truth is, they have the right to respond however they want to. So you could be finding yourself in this push pull dynamic today with someone else, especially when it comes to situations of power and control, that might just be better brought in elsewhere. Think about the Midwestern stereotype of always being smiley, or the Southern belle stereotype of you don't talk about what's wrong and you just stay really surface level, but you're always smiling. And I think there comes a time period in everyone's life where they realize that that's not always a bad idea. Sometimes you need to just protect your energy and take that step back, and not everything has to be confronted. Because the moon is making a trine to Jupiter and Venus, who are about to be aligning later on in the day, this could be a really optimistic day. So it's kind of like that vibe of, ain't nobody gonna break my stride, ain't nobody gonna hold me down. Like, it's also okay to be a little like toxic positivity today and not allow, gosh, I feel so like cringe saying things like don't allow people's negativity to impact you. And yet today, that is going to be my wisdom. Don't let other people's negativity impact you, because there's this beautiful alignment happening later on in the day at 12:58 p.m. And that is Venus making a conjunction to Jupiter in Cancer at 25 degrees. And this is a very auspicious day for love, beauty, and finances, especially if that love, if that beauty ritual, if that love relationship, if that financial risk or reward is taking you out of your comfort zone, because Jupiter is that planet of luck and expansion and abundance. And Jupiter energy teaches us that there are rewards to the hard work that we put in. And we just need to allow ourselves to be open to receiving them and also working maybe some with Saturn in doing the hard work required to get to the finish line. But, this is a good day to like get out of your norm, do something out of the norm. If you're looking for love, don't go to the same places every day and expect to meet somebody. You can meet somebody beautiful at a new coffee shop or at a pitch a friend event. If you are doing some things in your business, maybe go to a networking meeting today or post a different style of content than you would normally post, or take a class on something outside of your niche and let it free you from the binds or the shackles of what you've already thought to be possible. Maybe in your love relationship, you and your partner or partners could do something that you haven't done in a while or ever. Or, allowing yourself when you're manifesting, when you're co-creating, when you're working hard, which I believe that if you are here, you probably are doing that because we don't tend to be interested in personal development and astrology and things like that if we're not on some kind of growth journey. It's easy to keep putting that goalpost out and out and out and forgetting to be here in this moment that you manifested. You manifested this level that you're currently on too. How can you bring some gratitude to that as well? And just like, allow yourself to evolve and change. Allow your mindset to evolve and change around beauty and finances and love. I always want to be mindful of talking too much about myself on this podcast because this podcast really is for you guys and for the people who are listening and wanting to plan their week. But as a healer, as an astrologer, as a coach, we are our own best testimonials. So, me telling you about the work that I do on myself is going to be beneficial because you can see the way that I can utilize astrology in my daily life. So, I want to share this quick story about the time that I sat with grandmother and ayahuasca years ago. I'm not going to go nearly into the whole experience, but I remember going in there with this energy of, I'm going to heal my trauma. And at the time, I was healing a lot. I was always in coaching, I was always in therapy, I was always journaling, I was always at the gym, reading the personal development podcast, trying to like figure out what was so wrong with me and why I was so bad. And the thing that I thought that was wrong with me is that are the things that now I've learned are my gifts. I'm very sensitive. I'm very intuitive. I'm very psychic. I'm very emotional. Sometimes my reactions can be a little dramatic to situations that don't necessarily call for them. I'm working on making sure that that's a more productive dramatic, but that can be a thing. I've been known to cry because a butterfly was outside. Being high functioning, disorganized, like a type A, B person, and feeling like I don't fit in with the type A people, but I don't fit in with the type B people. Being a woo woo businesswoman at that time, too. I had this problem of like falling in love with everybody that I met immediately. And I thought who I am must be so bad. And I really need to figure out what is wrong with me. Instead of just realizing that I was 24 and I was young and I didn't know life. I was just trying to figure out life after being traumatized as a child and then moving into a healthy place in my adulthood, but reparenting my child and my teenage self while trying to figure out how to be an actual adult all at the same time. So I'm not the only person who went through that, but that was me at the time. I get invited to go sit with ayahuasca. I'm so excited. And I took it so seriously. I started my diet a month earlier than you were supposed to. And I was just like, really like, this is going to be the most serious thing I've ever done ever. And I remember walking in and I was telling the curandera what my goals were. I'm going to heal this. I'm going to heal that. And she just kind of like looked at me and laughed. And she like performed this part of the ceremony with me. And then it was over. And I was like, okay. And now I understand why she acted that way. But at the time, I was like, this is weird. So we go to ceremony, and it was 3 nights. And the biggest takeaway that I had on the last night was to be more my joy. It was actually to stop trying to heal myself. And I really thought I'm going to be in my shadows and my demons, and I'm going to see some dark stuff, and it's going to be terrifying. And I'm not saying that it wasn't slightly scary, because it was slightly scary. But for the most part, my experience was really beautiful. And the message that came through for me was live your life. Live your life. You can't be in the death portal forever. You can't be in the healing, grinding cycle for eternity. You can't be in this endless pursuit of figuring out what the hell's wrong with you. Instead, understand that you are a soul being. You are meant to be here. So enjoy it. And I might have enjoyed it a little bit too much. I feel like the last few years, I feel like I have gotten into a little bit more of an excessive energy and working on dialing it back and being a little bit more disciplined. But you know what? I am so grateful for the unraveling, the deep unraveling that I went through since then. I was in 2022 or 2023. So much beauty entered my life after that. And and it was a huge unraveling. And there's some hard things that happen too, as that's just how life is. But none of the beautiful things that I have today would have come if I had stayed in that endless pursuit of fixing myself instead of allowing myself to be me. If you find yourself at these crossroads, it doesn't mean that you're not imperfect. It doesn't mean that you don't have things that you could work on. But if your whole day, if your whole week, if your whole life is centered around optimization and the biohacking and the fixing, then there is no living. And actually, it's kind of a selfish cycle because the only person that you're focusing on is you. And that was something that became really apparent to me when I became a mom. I can't be fixing myself all day because I'm raising a human. Understand that this is the alignment that's asking you to also live, to also play, to also have fun, and to stop the endless pursuit of fixing yourself. This is also going to be important because later on tonight at 10:38 p.m. Pacific time, Mercury in Cancer makes a square to Saturn in Aries. This could be a time when you could be feeling more negative, more self-conscious, more self-deprecating. Maybe you're having some trouble communicating. You're having trouble communicating about your ideas or communicating about your needs or communicating about your path. And maybe you had a beautiful experience today and you were living life and maybe you overindulged a little bit or something with the Venus conjunct Jupiter, and now you're home and you're like in your head and you're like, why did I do that? Whenever we start to take up a lot of space and we're really expanding, we're really like growing like this, like how I just was earlier in that story, we tend to start to like come in. I notice myself kind of start to crawl onto my own arms. So this could be a natural contraction following the expansion of the day. Invitation to either go to bed early, try to go to bed before 10:38, or take some space to journal around the parts of you that are trying to steal your joy. And remind them that it's safe to feel this and that you're worthy of this and you can just enjoy things in life, like because you were born. We were born to also enjoy things, not just to work all the time. There's this quote floating around there, and I read about this in one of Gabor Mate's books of "Be a bitch or you're going to get an autoimmune disease." Women are the most common demographic of people to have autoimmune diseases, and autoimmune disease is directly linked to suppression, suppressing emotion, suppressing words, suppressing trauma and pain. And a lot of that is because our societal norm is like we're supposed to be bubbly and feminine and sweet. And the truth is, the divine feminine is far from that at all times. So, this could be also a good opportunity to be really connected to your authentic emotions and to let them out, even if they differ from how they felt earlier in the day with that Jupiter Venus conjunction. So let's skip ahead to Thursday, June 11th. Let's talk about enjoying the finer things in life. The moon will be entering Taurus this morning at 5:28 a.m. Pacific time. So grab a cozy blanket today at some point, make your favorite comfort meal, take a hot yoga class, cuddle with your dog, or give your animal a bath, plant seeds in your garden, water your plants. This is just a day to nurture yourself, to nurture those that you love. And Taurus energy, especially in its lunar position, especially the moon in Taurus, really shows us to remember that we incarnated in a physical vessel. If she likes a nice purse or a nice carpet or a massage or a nurturing, nutritious meal, give it to her today or them, or you know what I mean. Her as a metaphorical you with whatever pronouns you use. Well, on Friday, June 12th, Venus in Cancer is squaring off to Chiron in Aries today. They're both at 29 degrees or the anaretic degree. And the anaretic degree in astrology represents the last degree that a planet or celestial body can move through a sign. And this brings about an urgent energy. This is almost like the cosmic final exam for whatever themes or lessons you were learning based on whatever transit that was. So, for example, checking in and seeing the areas of your chart where you have Cancer and the areas of your chart where you have Aries. This could be a conversation that's been playing. So, Venus in Cancer, this is a transit that has been awakening us to value security and comfort, to value what we value more deeply, to prioritize privacy and to prioritize the sacred, what we hold closest to our hearts, and maybe our deepest, innermost feelings, emotions, thoughts around Venusian themes of beauty, finances, and love. Chiron in Aries has been a transit associated with rising into leadership, with not being afraid to be bold, to be front and center, to take initiative, to be seen, even with the part with Venus and Cancer, that was a much shorter transit, but still, most recently, the last few weeks, has been wanting that privacy, has been wanting to go inward, has been wanting to wrap herself or themselves up with a blanket. Chiron and Aries is like, we need to step ahead. We need to be in charge in a place, not from a place of wounding or domination, but from a place of that is sacred. It is sacred to actually go into the world and do what you want. It is sacred to protect those who you love. We look at protection as a yang or a masculine trait, but it's in all of us. It doesn't matter what your gender is. Same thing as being like a mama bear. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter if you have children. We all have something, someone, something, people, concepts, ideologies even that we would defend fiercely. And Chiron and Aries is like, get out there, tiger. We've had this kind of squaring off, this difference between safety and going out into the world. Let's see some possible scenarios of how this could play out for you. So in love, maybe you and your partner have been having the same argument over and over and over again. And now it's reaching this like tipping point of needing to listen to your inner authority. They need to listen to their inner authority and understanding that this is the crisis of relationship for the two of you. You're either going to get better and fix this problem. You have to decide you're going to let it go and stay together, or you have to decide this is actually too much and we have to separate. Same thing with money. Maybe you've been overspending a little bit, and that Venus in Cancer has been craving security, and the Chiron in Aries is craving self-leadership and self-initiation and making the Roth IRA to make it happen, or doing the sales calls or whatever. And you're in this position where you have a flat tire, a small emergency happens, and now you have to use your credit card. So this is that moment where the universe is like, hey, you need to start saving. This is the tipping point. This is the breaking point. It's not to scare you. But the thing with the universe that I've found and many others have found is that it starts with whispers. God, universe, spirit, source starts talking to you and trying to lead you through whispers. And then those whispers have to get louder and louder and louder, and they turn into screams until you listen. So you don't want that flat tire to turn into a car accident. You don't want that missed appointment to turn, or the doctor's appointment with the high bill, the cavity. You don't want that cavity to turn into a root canal. So it's better to pay the $800 to get the cavity filled today than to spend several $1,000s getting a root canal or something, as an example, right? And same thing with beauty and self-esteem. Maybe the universe is like, maybe you've had all these opportunities to date. I see this person who's like hiding themselves, who's insecure, who's self-conscious. Maybe this is me, maybe this is you, maybe it's both of us, based on appearances. And, we live in a world right now where everybody is striving to almost look the same. There used to be like, of course, there's always beauty standards, but there used to be some diversity within the beauty standard. And now it's like everybody go to the same plastic surgeon and get the same face. And listen, if you want to get your face done, get your face done. Like I'm doing facial acupuncture on Saturday. I'm so excited. Like I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with wanting to be the most beautiful version of yourself, the most confident version of yourself. But what is a problem is when you internalize, if you're not doing that, or if you don't match that image, that you are bad, you are wrong, you are less beautiful. And the truth is we are all beautiful. And so I could see this alignment manifesting as somebody missing an opportunity, missing a professional invitation, missing a romantic gesture, missing a opportunity to join a friend group because they're feeling so insecure, maybe about the way they look or about the way they speak or who they are, that they're not seeing it. And so today, this could be the tipping point of your higher self being like, you have to pay attention because your higher self don't care what you look like. Maybe they do. I don't know. My higher self is always in a suit, so I guess she cares a little bit. But there is that energy of how can you deeply allow yourself to be who you are if that's you and you're in that latter group. And don't let the world pass you by. Don't let these opportunities pass you by because you are so insecure. And that was a lesson that Chiron himself had to go through. Welcome to Saturday, June 13th. Venus enters Leo today at 3:47 a.m. Pacific time, and it will be there until July 9th. This is an opportunity for us to call in more love, more joy, more play, grand gestures of affection, connecting with the inner child in our hearts and the inner child and others and children themselves, and just being loud and proud and vibrant. I love that this alignment is happening during Pride Month. Leo energy is so courageous and strong and being who it really is and shining. And they're also a sign associated with like grand gestures of love. Everybody knows Venus and Leo is a lover. They love sharing their love with their partner. And two people I know at this placement have dated celebrities, which is interesting. People who are like really well known in their community. So there is a star like a starstruck aspect to this alignment in the sense of not being afraid to be seen, to be flashy in air quotes, to be vibrant and fully expressed. We can learn so much from Leo energy. Like we didn't come here just to work, we came here to play. And also Leo is the strength card in tarot. And we also learn so much through taming that inner beast within. We acquire so much strength and passion and vibrancy and radiance through taming that inner beast within. So if you have some struggles that you're going through right now within yourself and you're ready to overcome them, this is that season when Venus is in Leo to be really brave and to allow your radiance to lead you, to guide you, and allow yourself also to take up space, even amongst this healing journey. Welcome to Sunday, June 14th. We have our Gemini new moon today. It's at 24 degrees, and 24 degrees of Gemini is associated with playing, with enjoying what's happening right now, even if you don't know what's about to come. Being somewhat cautious of overstepping or overdoing it, but enjoying this moment, making the most out of challenging circumstances, even. Gemini energy really teaches us in general to be evolving. Gemini energy teaches us to be changeable, to be mutable. And maybe there's a part of you with wherever you have 24 degrees of Gemini in your chart that's wanting a rebirth, a retransformation, a new beginning, a new chapter, something different. And maybe it's just changing the setting of your podcast. Maybe it's cutting your hair. Gemini energy is like the genius. It's like the mad scientist. So bringing in, unlocking that mad scientist within you with whatever area of life that is, and allowing yourself to transform. Like I said, the energy this week is an opportunity to opt into more love, more creativity, more abundance, more rest. But you have to first tame that inner beast within and understand that your spirit came here to enjoy and to have fun too, not just to work and be in that, what the woo-woo people like to call the death portal all the time. So that was your Astro Weather forecast for the week. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm here for you. You can message me on Instagram. I'll put my link below. I also have this new quiz I just launched. I'm so excited. It's called the Grounded Mystic Quiz. And when you take it, you'll get a free tarot card pull. It's linked below, and it will match you up with whatever the best personal reading would be for you. You also get a little surprise if you take that. So that is there. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.